From high above Times Square in Midtown Manhattan, this is the third most listened to show in all of America. My name is Glenn Beck, and I welcome this fight. Thank you so much, Jim Wallace. Thank you for giving me this grand global opportunity to address social justice. And Mr. Wallace, if you will, sir, make sure you join me on Monday, because we've got some things in store for you and social justice. Welcome to the program. Here is the headline in today's New York Times, the organ of this administration. Outraged by Glenn Beck's salvo, Christians fire back. Do they now? Or is this yet another Van Jones story? Remember, the Van Jones story was, he was just minding his own business, and then Glenn Beck started picking on him, and he had nothing to do with any kind of boycott or anything else. Mm-hmm. Really? Is that the way it happened? So now, Jim Wallace comes out, and he has started to attack me personally because I have said on this program, social justice is code language. Code language for big government. I want you to understand, when it comes to your church, if your church is preaching social and economic justice, you better do some digging and find out exactly what that means. Because if that means big government, if that means, yes, you need to support these big government programs, you don't have a church. What you have is an organ of the government. You have the Anglican Church over in England, which we left. You have the Church of England. Separation of church and state. It's weird that I have to argue with someone like Jim Wallace, the separation of church and state. Now, if your church is talking about social justice in the way that you empower yourself to go out and help the poor, well, then that's exactly what Jesus or Allah or Buddha or whoever it is would like you to do.
Yeah, they're trying to make this an anti-poor thing. They're trying to make this that you're against the poor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just ridiculous.
No. And so now they're ramping up a boycott on Christians to boycott our show. Oh, really? Look out. Here it comes again, gang. The smear. Let me give you the organ of the Obama administration, the New York Times, by Lori Goodstein. She says, last week, the conservative broadcaster Glenn Beck called on Christians to leave their churches if they hear preaching about social or economic justice, saying they are code words for communism and Nazism. Well, yeah, the communists and the Nazis, and I presented that evidence last night on the TV show. It's pretty hard when I take their own words and play it coming out of their own mouth and then show their own magazines, their own newspapers, using that language for this exact purpose, for Nazism and communism, progressivism in America. But why get down to the facts? This week, the remarks prompted outrage from several Christian bloggers. Now, let me ask you a question. The New York Times says they're above all of the news that's fit to print. They found this to be of how many paragraph? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 paragraph story from several, quote, Christian bloggers. Oh.
Unnamed?
No, they've named one.
Oh, they have named him. Oh, good.
Yes, the Reverend Jim Wallace.
Oh, that Christian blogger.
Oh.
And by the way, did they mention that he's an advisor, a spiritual advisor to the President of the United States, Barack Obama?
No, they haven't mentioned that. They don't mention that.
Oh,
here.
he's just a disinterested party.
He just leads.
He's just a Christian.
He's just a Christian.
Random Christian typist.
Who leads the liberal Christian anti-poverty group.
Oh, is
it's
that
a
what he
Christian
is?
anti-poverty group.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
At least they said liberal. That's more than they normally do.
Right. He called on Christians to leave Glenn Beck. That sounds like a boycott. I wonder if one will follow.
Wait, an advisor to the president being tied to a boycott? That doesn't sound possible.
Wait.
It doesn't sound possible.
One who studied Marxism?
No, it doesn't seem. I won't listen to it.
Yeah. Okay, so what he has said attacks the very heart of Christian faith. Christians should no longer watch his show, Mr. Wallace wrote on his blog. His name of his blog? God's Politics. Now, I wasn't aware that God had politics. I would like to again join all of the liberals in suggesting we have a separation of church and state. That maybe there's a problem when your preacher stands up and starts telling you who to vote for, how to vote, and what the government should look like. Now, I know there are churches that do that. I don't attend them. I don't like them. You can do that if you want. But if you want to make sure that God's politics aren't America's politics, you know, that would probably be a good thing to check into those words of those churches. Because I don't think God has politics. I think he has the truth. His show should be in the same category as Howard Stern. That sounds like Saul Alinsky.
Successful? Is that what he's trying to say?
In attacking churches that espouse social justice, the Times writes, Mr. Beck is taking on most mainline Protestant, Roman Catholic, Black, and Hispanic congregations in the country. I wonder if we're going to get the churches like Jeremiah Wrights now to say that I'm a racist. I mean, it's not hard for Jeremiah Wright to call people racist. And then, of course, there would be a campaign against my sponsors because I'm against a racist. I'm again a racist because I'm anti-poverty. I'm anti-poor.
No, because, let's get that position straight. Because you are pro-poverty, right?
I am pro-poverty.
Pro-poverty,
pro-poverty, anti-poor.
What was your decision-making process then when you're doing this tour and the main three parts of it are faith, hope, and charity? Why would you include faith or charity?
No idea.
I don't understand
No idea.
Weird.
Mr. Beck said on his radio show March 2nd, I beg you, look for the words social justice or economic justice on your church website. If you can find it, run as fast as you can. Social justice and economic justice are code words. Quoting me, am I advising people to leave their church? Yes. If I'm going to Jeremiah Wright's church, he said, referring to President Obama's former pastor in Chicago. If you have a priest that is pushing social justice, go find another parish. Notice, leave your parish, not your church.
Right.
Go find another parish. Go alert your bishop.
Do you have are there dots that you're skipping over here?
No,
Because I'm looking at our transcript, and maybe we transcribed it wrong. But you said social justice and economic justice; they are code words. Now the idea, hang on, Stu is saying that I'm advising people to leave their church. Yes, if I'm going to Jeremiah Wright's church. In other words, when you said something, I asked you in your ear to clarify it, which you did immediately afterwards by saying you were referring to Jeremiah Wright's type church, a black liberation theology, or Marxism, or a church that's turned into a political arm.
Yeah.